Hello, I'm Jenny Fern. Welcome to my library. Well, I had an idea for a video where I go through all of my 5-star rated books and I see if I agree with them or not. I looked at 2017 and these, you can't see how big this stack is. These were the 5-star books from that year. So I'm going to focus it to just 1 year at a time. Let's see if I agree with my 2017 self. To set the stage, 2017 was the last year for me in college. I was doing a master's in mechanical engineering. I was in the United States for the beginning part of the year, the first couple months, and then I went back to Italy to finish up my thesis, and I was there for 3 months. Then I came back, I finished up my schooling, I graduated, and I moved in with my now husband, and yeah, 2017 was a big year. I also started my first real job, my first salaried job. I think it was also the year that I really started to value books a lot more. Before, I used them mostly as a tool to fall asleep and to entertain myself on the bus ride to school. And then this year I really started to value what they brought to my life. It was also the year that I started tracking my reading in Goodreads. The first book that I have on this list, The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. So this is quite a long book actually, and I read this as an audiobook. It is a children's book, but it is, I don't know, it's definitely readable by an adult audience. It's about a boy named Nobody Owens, and he grows up in a graveyard raised by ghosts. As for if this is a 5-star read to me now, I don't think so. I think this would be maybe like a 4-star. That doesn't take away that at the time and maybe like in the course of reading it, it's a 5-star, but for the lasting impact, it's not really a 5-star read for me, but still very good. The next book is The Girls by Emma Cline. This was very good. This was very well written, and it's like a fictionalization about the Manson family, like the cult. And my dog seems quite upset at somebody. There's children. I get it. Clove. There she is. There she is. You saw her for a sec. I don't know, this just hasn't left a really big impact. It was great. Maybe a 4.5 with retrospect, but really good. Ooh, and then we have The Martian by Andy Weir. This was also very good, but I'm just thinking it's not exactly for me. You know, like it's not exactly my thing. It is almost my brand of sci-fi, but it's not quite. After you read a good book, especially if you've been reading things that are especially not your thing, you read a good book and you're like, 5 stars. Still very good. I don't know if it would be like a 5-star for me now, you know what I mean? I guess I mean like a favorite, you know? So far the books that we've covered today have not been favorites, you know? Slaughterhouse-Five. Excellent! I can't believe that 2017 was my year of reading my first Vonnegut novels. 2017 was such a formative year. Slaughterhouse-Five by Vonnegut is like required reading. It's like the quintessential Vonnegut when people read Vonnegut. But it's not my favorite Vonnegut. Again, not a favorite, but I love Vonnegut and I love Slaughterhouse-Five. Avenue of Mysteries by John Irving. I have such distinct memories of reading this book on the plane. I think going to Italy, if not returning from Italy back to the United States, but I remember reading this on the plane. And it was so important to me, this book. And I really, really loved it at the time. But at this point, I don't even know what it's about. I don't even know. It's something to do with Mexico, I think. And there's like some really poor children. But as for like the actual plot, I don't know. I just saw a chapter title called The Nose, and yeah, I think they break the nose off of like one of the statues in a cathedral. This was so important to me at the time, but I just don't really know. I don't really know anything about it anymore. Then we have The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. I had such a blast reading this book, but this is definitely not a favorite anymore. I had so much fun reading it, and it does deserve those 5 stars for the after reading experience. But at this point, it was just a fun time, you know? You know what I mean? The next one I have is Cat's Cradle by Kurt Vonnegut. I love Cat's Cradle so much. I think about this story all the time. I don't know why. I see it everywhere. Like, little things will remind me of it. This one is still 100% a 5-star. This is a favorite. I love this book so much. I really should reread it. I had such a blast, and it really cemented for me the importance of Kurt Vonnegut in my life. You know what I mean? The Phantom Tollbooth. I was just gonna reread this. This is in my stack of books to reread for this year. I love this book. I read this when I was on like the train and the buses in Italy. I read this as a library rental on my phone, and it just brought me so much joy and kind of brought me to a place of like childhood. I think this is also a favorite, maintaining that 5-star. We shall see when I reread it, because I have reread 2 books so far this year that I thought I would really enjoy the rereading process, and I didn't. What a great reading year, because the next book that I have is Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari, and this book was so critical for me to read. I think this book made me who I am today. The concepts and the thoughts in this book really challenged me at the time and really made me think on humanity. Like, what are we? What are we doing? And this book is one of the most important books that I've ever read. And I'm like getting all emotional now. We hit like a few really, really important books to me, and now I'm like starting to feel it. I did mention this book as as my favorite book in a video recently. It's just so important, and I'm a little bit scared to reread it in case I've gone further than this text. But this was so important to get me to think so critically about the world and what I'd been taught. So I recommend this so strongly to people. I first read Philip K. Dick in 2017. Can you believe that? This is Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, and it is what Blade Runner was based on. The first, not the remake, the original Blade Runner, just is so special to me. I love science fiction, just in general, and I really wanted to read the original source material. It's weirdly light and pulpy, and it's just such a fun time. But I don't think at this point that this is in my big favorites, you know what I mean? It's up there, but it's not quite at the level. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Such a good reading year. This was the first time I'd ever read Douglas Adams, and I read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I also have fond memories of reading this. I think I might have to reread the first 3 books from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy to see if it still holds that really high position. I will say the next book that I have, The Restaurant at the End of the Universe, I felt even more strongly about The Restaurant at the End of the Universe than I did this book here. So I had such wonderful memories of reading this on the bus in Italy. I don't know. I'm really torn on this. If these are like top tier, or if these are a little bit below top tier. I'm gonna put them in the little bit below top tier. I have beans on the stove. I gotta go check that. One moment. I know everybody was really worried about the beans. The beans are fine. My next 5-star read, The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. This, I remember reading this. I was unemployed. I had moved into my now husband's apartment. I read this book in like a day because I didn't have a job. I really liked this. I clearly wasn't a teen when I read it, but it was really good. It's not top tier good though. Not for me. Not like that super critical, important, fundamental, foundational to me as a person. It's not at that level for me. We have Ubik by Philip K. Dick. I love this book. I cannot wait to reread this book. I'm gonna reread this book before the end of the year. I really hope. It's so thought-provoking. I think about the concept of this book and the setting of this book so frequently. Like, I go into this place of this book. So this one's gonna go into that top tier. I really hope it's good when I reread it, you know? Now we get into some books that I don't even own. One is The Stranger in the Woods by Michael Finkel. The Extraordinary Story of the Last True Hermit. So now, this was a great nonfiction book. This was about a hermit who lived in the woods, who lived by stealing from cabins and from like living off of the land to some extent. And he hid from society for a long time. What are we screaming about? It's not my fault that it's rainy today. This book was great. It's not even enough for me to like really need to own this book, you know? There are some books that were really great, but you don't even care about having them. It's not even on the list, really. But it was excellent. It was an excellent read, obviously. I wouldn't have rated it 5 stars otherwise. Then we have The Tunnel by Ernesto Sabato. And I don't remember this book at all. I don't remember reading it. I kind of remember reading it, but I don't remember what it's about in any way. And I'd be interested in rereading it, but because I really don't remember anything about it, and I haven't bought it because I don't really have that emotional connection to this book, I'm like, do I really want to reread it? So this one's not even on the list either. The Sea Around Us by Rachel Carson. I have such a fondness for this book. This book is, I don't know why it's so important to me. It really sparked a love for the world's oceans. And since then, I've read more books about the ocean. I watched like Blue Planet and, you know, the revamped new Blue Planet, and they were just so awe-inspiring, and just learning about how important the ocean is and the ocean currents. So this one is gonna go in the favorites. It seems to me that it gets more important as time goes on. And I don't know if I'm ever gonna reread it, because it's just like, you know, it's nonfiction. It's old nonfiction about the ocean, but it was so important to me to learn, to start to start getting that passion for reading about the ocean, you know? So anyway, that'll go in the favorites. I also have on here Lab Girl by Hope Jahren. And this is a nonfiction work about being a woman who works in a research lab. She did like more biology kind of stuff, and it goes into that, like kind of that research world, and I don't really remember a lot of the details. I don't own this book. I did purchase a copy for my sister, and I gifted it to her for Christmas one year. And I don't even know if she read it or if she liked it at all. And since then, I don't really think about it at all. I don't think it's a 5-star anymore, you know what I mean? Langston Hughes, Selected Poems. I think this was when I was very, very, very first starting to get into reading poetry, and they were beautiful. I don't own this. I don't know. It's not like I think about any of these poems, you know? So I think this one is definitely not a favorite, I'll say that. And then the last one I have here is The Futurological Congress by Stanislaw Lem. And all I really remember about this is it was just strange, like surreal almost. I don't know. I don't really remember anything about it, but it like really connected with me. And there's a handful of books like that where reading them just becomes a haze of like, I loved it. But I can't remember any specific details. I would love to reread this because at this point I have no idea. So I'm not going to put this on my favorites. So the books that I ended up with on this list as my favorites from 2017, my lasting favorites, my most important favorites of 2017 are Cat's Cradle by Kurt Vonnegut. I can't argue with that. It's such a wonderful book. The Phantom Tollbooth by Norton Juster. I've considered getting tattoos of the artwork from this book. So like, it clearly means a lot to me. Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. Just such a foundational, important nonfiction piece that shaped my understanding of the world. Ubik by Philip K. Dick. Just a very thought-provoking, very interesting science fiction. The Sea Around Us by Rachel Carson. Again, just really sparking a joy and a passion for learning more about the ocean. That is what I have for you guys today. That's a look at 5 years ago, what has stood the test of time. So I think I am going to do a specific book recommendation for you guys today. Let me find a topic and I will come right back. So the specific book recommendation I have for y'all today is a book that will make you believe in magic again. This is assuming you ever believed in magic, which I guess most kids probably do. But I have two books that will bring out that childlike wonder in you. Both books about witches by Japanese authors. We have Kiki's Delivery Service by Eiko Kodono, which the Miyazaki movie is based off of. It is so cute and so magical and fun, and I love witches. I love little books about witches. Then this book is so magical. This manga series is so beautiful and it's so dynamic and stunning. That's a Witch Hat Atelier. That's by Kamome Shirahama. The artwork is stunning. Stunning. And the way, here, just show you this. The way that the art explodes out of the framing And the way that the framing is used, it's so expertly done. It seems to really be challenging what a comic can do, and it is just a really engaging story. So yeah, I think this will make you believe in magic again. You might attempt to draw some like sigils and see if it's possible for you to make some shoes that will help you levitate or something like that. I don't know, just the magic system in this book is also so simple and explained. It goes into depth of how it works that you're like, maybe I could do it. Maybe it's real. Anyway, those are my 2 recommendations for a book that will make you believe magic is real again. I hope so dearly that you enjoyed this video. If you want a book recommended to you, please put your highly specific book recommendation requests in the comments below and I will get back to you shortly. I think the sun's gone for today. I think we're done. And I gotta make my bean soup, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you again soon.